You'll see. Even if you go way back, you'll see some older penny stock videos from like 2017 when I used to trade penny stocks back in the day. So again, we're kind of waiting toward that 10 o'clock range. Again, we have the industrial PMI coming out. It's going to really affect the market here. If you're in any trades before 10 o'clock, again, you may look to exit that. You'll see some crazy volatility pop up that'll be unpredictable. Whether the news is good or bad, it doesn't matter. You just see the algorithms kind of play themselves out. You can't beat a computer playing chess. Trust me. So again, we'll wait till after 10 o'clock, get a better direction here of the market. But Jonathan, strategy very simple. I don't make my strategy very complicated here. A couple things I'm looking for is what's the direction of the market and how do I figure out the direction, right? I use a 9 and a 20 moving average. It's very simple. If the 9's below the 20, we're in a downtrend. If the 9's above the 20, we're in an uptrend. Right. Other only two indicators that I use on the chart is going to be the volume weighted average price as well as the 200 moving average. So with that being said, when do you look to go long? When do you look to go short off those moving averages plays? Typically, we look at the RSI that we talked about earlier. All right, if we're in a downtrend and the RSI is above 50, that gives me a good risk versus reward to look toward the short side and write it down. We'll pull the trigger there. Exact opposite on the uptrend. If the 9's above the 20. I'll look for an RSI below 50, because that gives me some room for that to continue to run in that direction. So where do you put stops at is the other big question, right? How do I know when to get out of a play? And that's when the direction is going against me, right? I'm going to go short. I'm looking for that 9 to stay below the 20. If that 9 crosses back over the 20 and we're in an uptrend, I'm going to get out. It's going to tell me that I am wrong here. The direction of the market has changed. I do not want to be holding a losing position against the market, and I'll cut out of it. Same, exact opposite on the upside. Nothing with my strategy. Strategy is very complicated. The only thing I can't teach is experience in the market, and that's what comes with trading the market day in and day out. Right? The strategy is very simple. It's the experience on what to do in each situation because I've seen it happen so many times on when to actually get in, when to actually get out. So it depends, and you'll see this in my trading. Sometimes I'll take it off the 9, sometimes I'll take it off the 20. And what determines that is the spread between the 9 and the 20. What's that gap look like, right? So if you look at the earlier chart into here, see where the 9 crosses underneath the 20 and the gap's real short right here. And back then the RSI, and this would have been a good short play, but I just don't trade again before 9:45. If we're looking right here, when the trend changed right here, when it crossed underneath, right, the RSI was into the 60s right there. So that would have been an indication to go short right into here, and then we just would have continued to ride that, ride it down, probably take some profits, along the way, but you would hold this, and the only thing that would tell me to get out is when the direction of the market changed. Typically typically I'm probably not going to hold this all the way down. Once I feel comfortable with the profit that I'm up on the day, I'm just going to lock that in. Even though the chart's not telling me to get out, profit's profit. You'll never go broke taking profit. I may have left a couple runners running, but that's the strategy, right? So when am I looking, so when the gap gets bigger here, I'm not looking to short off the 9 here. I'd be looking to short off the 20 at this point because the gap's pretty big. So again, we got news coming up in 2 minutes. I don't want to be in a position here. I want to see after this news at 10 o'clock, let the news kind of settle down and we'll be able to trade off of it. If you're wondering where I get that news from, when it comes out, what impact it's going to have on the market, very simple here. Put that right there in the chat for you guys. So the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is check the news, see what news is coming out on the day, and then what impact if it's going to have. If it's a 1-star impact, I don't really care about it. If it's a 3-star impact, that's where I'm really going to pay attention to it. I'm not going to be in a trade with a 3-star impact play coming up. And if it's a 2-star, maybe. I don't really look at the 200 moving average too much, other than I know it's a point of resistance or a point of support, depending if we're above and below it. Maybe an area where I look to take profit. It's really the only thing I'm paying attention to there. So we've got about 45 seconds here till that news comes out at 10. Yeah, so 200 MA doesn't determine whether I'm long or short on the day. That's all 9 and 20, depending on the trend of that. The 200 or VWAP are there just for my reference on, if I'm, maybe an area just to take profit because it's gonna come up there and either hold support or hold resistance. So here's 10 o'clock. Here's that volatility. You'll see these candles move very quickly, kind of all over the place, kind of what we're seeing now. And again, this is why I don't hold positions in the 3-star plays here. Got the news up here, just waiting. All right, reported it at 47.2. Consensus was 47.5, previously at 46.8. So it came in lower here than what the consensus was. So we may see the algorithms kind of put that into play here and see this continued pullback. So you're seeing this big red candle here come in. So again, what I'll be looking for here, RSI in the 35s here. So I always like to let the algorithms fight each other for, whatever, couple minutes, 5-10 minutes here, and then the market kind of get back to more retail traders, and then be able to play it off there. And then going into tomorrow, we have another big, the first week of September here is a bunch of news, but going into tomorrow, another big news play is going to be that job openings report, right? The JOLTS, that comes out there the first Wednesday of every month. Of course, it's going to be reporting July numbers. It's always 2 months behind. So we'll see what that job opening is, because the forecast on that one's 8.09 million. We'll see what the actual comes in at, but that is a bigger impact even than the PMI news that just dropped here. Reason is because that's what the Feds look at to really look at what they're doing with overall interest rates. Whether they're going to do quantitative easing, quantitative tightening for the next quarter, half year. That's a big data point for them is job market. So 10:01 here, the news dropped again, a little bit worse than expected here. That's the ISM manufacturing PMI report. No trades yet here on the day, sitting on my hands. So 10:03 in the market. Market has been in a downtrend. We are starting September off on the wrong foot here. Market giving back some gains here. So again, we got that pullback here. RSI in the 29 range here. Where I'd really be looking to go short is really if this, even if this popped above the 20 moving average, I probably wouldn't be taking it depending on where the RSI is at. Maybe if this popped up to the VWAP and gets rejection and the 9 stays below the 20 there would be a good short, but a lot of selling pressure here in the market to kind of open up the month here. VIX is up 9%, so the fear indicator there up 9% here on the day. For all the long-term shareholders with me on PLTR, we're up to 31.23 here. And then DM's kind of flatlined. JMIA is also pretty flatlined here. So it looks like the algorithms here are kind of out of the way. I don't see them on the level 2s here, bouncing orders here all over the place again. We'll be looking for an opportunity to trade here. As you guys know, trading is 99% sitting on your hands, looking for the right setup, and 1% execution. So right now we are sitting on the hands. Definitely bearish here on the day. Problem is looking to go short here. We need a better setup. Anybody do anything fun over Labor Day weekend? The only thing I am really excited for is football season starts Thursday for the NFL, correct? Thursday night game? Is there a Thursday night game to kick it off? I know there's a Friday night game. Didn't know if Amazon got the first Thursday night game of the season here. Oh yeah, opens with a banger. Ravens versus Chiefs at Chiefs. Wow. And then Packers at Eagles. Jalen Hurts will be interesting to watch. So again, looking for an opportunity to trade here, sitting on the hands, waiting for the right setup for us here. Currently 10:07 here in the market. No trades here on the day. August, pretty good month of trading. Even though, again, summertime trading is a lot slower now that Labor Day weekend here is just passed, we'll start to see the market give us better opportunities. Again, I'll probably make 80% to 70% of the profits I make on the year between October, to about April. So we'll start to see the market heat back up here. Once I get the trades imported from August, I'll let you guys know what the P&L looked like for August here. I haven't looked at it, but knock on wood, I don't remember taking any L's in August. Could be wrong on that. I know July was a tougher month for me, but last month pretty decent trading. So again, let's see if we start to see that reversal come in. Again, we get that VWAP sitting up there at that 559.41 area on this SPY. 1009 here in the market. Waiting for a setup here. Ooh, I have to go back and look at that. Thought there was more than that. But again, I can start recording these sessions and throwing them on there. Like I said, I got this recording, or I got this session recording. Again, we can throw it in off. Throw it in after this. Again, we're sitting on the hands, being patient and waiting for this setup here. Hopefully we can get a nice little setup here on the day. Again, don't get impatient. You gotta sit, wait for that setup and then strike when it gives it to us. If it gives it to us, not every day you're gonna get the setup you're looking for. Ten, 12 here in the market. Yeah, so right now I'm actually looking for this to break the 20 moving average, right? Get a little bit of run up because I want to see that RSI again get toward the 50. Really looking, I'd like to see this actually kind of test this VWAP and see how it reacts off the volume weighted average price. And as long as the 9 stays below the 20, if we get that quick little run up, like in a nice little upper shadow off a candle, that's where I'd be looking to short. Right? And even if we didn't quite make it up to the VWAP, but we did get that pump above the 200 moving average, and then I started to see the sellers come in on the upper shadow again. Granted, the 9 staying below the 20, that's when I'm looking to short, right? And also be looking to go long if we can get the 9 to break above the 20 moving average and we get a pump above the volume weighted average price, and it looks like the market's going to flip. Then I'd be looking to go long. But as of right now, the trend's telling us that this is going to want to continue to go down, right? Problem is even if you take it off the 9 and the 20 right here, which you definitely can, the RSI's in the 33s. Even if I popped up to that 20 moving average, put the RSI in the 40 range, there's just not enough risk versus reward to really capture a nice little profit on a trade like that, which that's kind of a lot of what it comes down to. Unless you were looking to scalp, um, we can scout moves too, just like, okay, well, we know it's going to get rejected off the 20 momentarily. We'll throw a couple contracts in there, and then as soon as it drops, we'll take those quick little profit. You can do that as well. Typically, what I like to do though is I like to build up a little bit of a cushion on the day, meaning to have that one good trade. And then what I'll do is I'll look to scalp after that to kind of pad the day of profit. So market continuing to fall here. Super short on the RSI. And I wonder if we get a bounce here off this. Let me zoom in on this real quick. Get you the exact level, but you got the 20 moving average bounce on the daily chart here coming up. At 55.75 area, which is right here. Wonder if the market drops off there and then we see the reversal. But again, big red candle coming here on the day. I say big, but we're down 1% here on the day so far. Kind of starting September off on the wrong foot. But again, we're sitting back, we're being patient, we're looking for the opportunity here. Overall market been pretty flat here as of late. Just kind of bouncing all around the 550 area on this SPY. But let's see. Like I said, we just need one setup, one opportunity here. Make a little bit of money on the day. 1019 here in the market. Starting to get a little pump here. So sitting back, being patient. Like I said, I'm looking for this to run and break this 20 moving average. It's probably not going to get all the way up to that VWAP area because if it does, we'll see that 9 break underneath the 20 and it'll probably set a trend to the upside. But if we can get like a pop like up to that 5600 area on an upper shadow, then it starts to show weakness. Be looking to execute a short on that, but we'll see here. Again, we still got to sit back, be patient, kind of let the market do its thing here and give us an opportunity. About 40 here on the RSI. If we do break below this 9 moving average, I may look to scalp a short here. better place here is it's going to be when it breaks this 20 moving average. We get a run up toward that 5,600 area, and then we can potentially see it drop off there. If we don't get the drop and it keeps running, we'll see that 9 cross over the 20. Then we've got a nice little gap here to the VWAP, so we can play it to the long side here. But we got to sit back and be patient, see what it does as it's kind of bouncing off the 9 and 20 here, trying to pick its next direction here in the market. This is kind of the crucial area here. Yeah, we've been really patient in the market. It's 10:24 here. No trades here on the day for me. Of course, we had that news drop at 10 o'clock, so I knew it was going to be a little bit slower in the morning. So I wasn't really deciding to pull the trigger before that 10 o'clock time frame. But, you know, ISM, the manufacturing news came out a little bit lighter than expected, even with the Fed's help on the way. Kind of manufacturing in a little bit of a slump. Kind of causing the market to take a step back again. Market always overreacts to any type of news, whether that's to the good or to the bad side. Typically, it reacts a lot stronger with negative news than it does positive news. Again, it's an elevator on the way down and stair steps on the way up. So typically I do better as a shorter on big shorting days in the market than I do on big positive green days in the market. You know, you think about the drop in 2020 of COVID. That was definitely the most profitable time I've ever been as a trader. Till this day, that's probably going to be very hard to beat that yearly P&L that year in 2020. But you need volume and volatility to make money as a trader, and that's the year that we got it. So starting to get that little break up here, RSI in the 50s here now. Again, not still below the 20 here. Again, if we see it start to break down here, that's when we'll go short. Again, didn't get that big upper shadow and all that selling pressure we're looking for. Again, if the 9 crosses above the 20, we get a bounce off it, showing support, and then we've got a nice little gap to run here up toward that VWAP, and we can look to go long here. So we'll just let the market dictate what it wants to do here, and we'll be able to react accordingly to it. Again, 10:26 here now in the market. No trades for me. It's been a little bit slower of a day, even though it's been all to the downside here. Just no really setups that fit into what I look to do. Again, if we get that 9 cross over the 20 here, we start to hold. Then again, I'm going to look to go long with a target there at 55882, which will be the VWAP area. Or if we get the breakdown here, this breaks down below the 9 moving average, I'll look to go short here. Again, just let the market tell me what to do, and I'll plan accordingly to it. But we're right here where I like it. RSI right around the 50 mark. So that means there's plenty of opportunity to make money either to the long side or to the short side. We're just deciding which way to take this after the market decides which way it wants to go here. I do kind of like this setup where it looks like it's getting weak here. Again, I got to see it fall below the 9 to have confidence to pull the trigger on that. So watching here.
Order filled.
Start a short position here. I'm going to add some orders above it to add to the short if need be. Target going to be down here toward the lows. And again, where's my stop loss going to be? That's if the 9 does cross above the 20 moving average and I'm wrong here. That's where the stop loss would be. So far, it's kind of what we talked about, right? I'd like to see that get above the 20 moving average, see if it holds or not. And if it doesn't hold and it gets below the 9, that'll give me confidence to short. RSI was in a good spot when I took it right around 45. So it gives me some room for this to continue to fall here. So we're only in one contract here. We're up about 112.50 unrealized here. I'm going to move these orders down here. Again, I'm looking for this to kind of come to these lows here, give me about 275 in profit. If I can get filled here. But again, only one contract. I will add if it pops up here momentarily. But the overall trend's telling me we're to the downside here. RSI isn't too oversold here, so it gives us some room to continue to see the market pull back.
Order filled.
I'm going to add there off the 20 moving average here. So now I'm short 2 contracts. We're up about 187 here unrealized. Again, I'm looking for the bigger pullback all the way down here. So if we can get hit on these 2 contracts here, that'll put our total profit there on the day right around $730 here. If we can actually see that big red candle come in that I'm looking for and see this really fall to the lows of the day here. Could walk away here with some nice little profit up about 337 here unrealized. You can see the P&Ls as it moves. 2 contracts to the short side. Don't have a huge position in here. Again, kind of sculled our way into it. We kind of talked about the plan, what it was going to be here. And again, as always, feel free to take profits where you feel comfortable taking profits. Don't have to be where I'm looking at. But like the RSI all in the 40s here, so there's still room to fall here. Again, looking for that nice little drop into here. I'd almost even look to add if it popped up to here. Let's see, there's about 400 here. Let's see that nice little drop here. Let's see it start to get filled here. Again, also don't want to get too greedy here. There's 512. Let's see that nice little drop here. That nice little last little drop. There we go. Let's see if we can get filled on the last one here. And again, we can walk away with about 700 bucks. Hand on the trigger, I will close this out if it doesn't quite hit it. I still think there's a little bit of a room to fall here.
Order filled.
And that is all she wrote there. So $737.50 here in profit, $737.50 after commissions, $733. Again, we talked about this plan, kind of sitting on our hands, being patient, just waiting for the setup, kind of to come to us. Kind of called the trade out before we actually took it, what I wanted to see, which would determine which way I was going to go, how I was going to trade this, right? So got that little pop there that I was looking for. I wanted it to break the 20 moving average, and then I wanted to see what it did, right? If the 9 crossed back over the 20, we had some room to the upside up there to the VWAP, and I would have took this long. But again, as I talked about, if it broke below the 9 moving average, which it did there, I was going to start the short position and short it off the 9 and the 20, right? Very simple here. And then we got the drop, and then, closing these orders out where I had the stop losses at low a day here, right? So, just closing out at low a day, even though it's kind of breaking it here. That's where I had that last little limit order was a little bit of a break below it, but kind of see, where we go from here. What's your, I guess, risk R&R? You're referring to risk versus reward. It's always funny when I hear traders always ask that, like risk versus reward. It's not like I set something, right, where it's like, typically, everybody's like, oh, you want a 2-to-1 risk versus reward or a 3-to-1 risk versus reward, which is true, right? You don't want to, if you always risk 100, it all depends, right? If you risk $100 to make $100, your risk versus reward is 1-to-1. You can make money that way, right? You only need to be profitable 51% of the time, and you can make money like that. For me, it's not like I'm really looking for risk versus reward as like it's in my head, and I use the RSI to kind of gauge that in a sense, but really the market dictates that for me, right? Meaning that if I'm on the right side of the trade, I'm gonna make a good risk versus reward on that. If I'm wrong, I'm gonna take a loss on that, but typically when I'm wrong, I'm still cutting out early enough where I'm not taking huge losses. And my winners seem to be pretty decent when I'm on the right side of it. So it kind of works itself out. It's not something that, in every trade I'm looking to go into, like, okay, I've got two contracts in here. If my P&L shows that I'm down 300, I'm out because I was looking to make 700 on that trade. Not something I'm actively kind of looking for. I let the market dictate all the actions that I take, right? I don't do anything out of feeling or gut feeling or anything like that. It's literally I have a plan and I'm going to stick to it. And if I'm wrong, which is going to happen, you're going to take losses. Just don't let the losses get crazy, right? And let the market dictate that, right? If this trade would have went sour here, we went short here. Let's pretend that green candle shot all the way up to 560. I would have had about four contracts in there. And then the nine, if it would have crossed, above the 20 moving average there, right? I'm going to be on the wrong side of that. And I'm just going to, cancel all orders. I'm going to get out of it and, you know, probably take, if that would have went sour, I don't know, maybe a five, six, seven, $800 loss. It might have been a 1-to-1, versus where I took profit here. But I am going to be right more than I am wrong. But for me, the risk versus reward is all about the RSI, right? The RSI, again, I wanted it to be toward that 50 range because that means that there's room to fall, right? Because, there's room to fall back down to the 30 RSI range, kind of where it's trading now. And same thing, even going long here would have been a good setup if it gave us the right setup there because risk versus reward was good there. RSI would have been in the 50s when we went long, and we have a gap to fill up to that VWAP area, which is probably where I would have looked and took profit if the 9 got above the 20 and continued to run. But also knowing that we've been more in a downtrend state, we've been downtrending more than we've been uptrending in the market. Again, the trend is your friend. The odds of this reversing were less than if we continued, toward the downside, right? It would have took a lot more pressure, buying pressure to get this to move to the upside than it was to see it continue shorting, right? So think of like moving a boulder up a hill, right? It takes a lot more people to move a boulder up than it does just to, once you get to the top, to push it off the cliff and let it roll down. When you talk about changing directional trends in the market. So again, 737.50 here in profits after commission, 733. I always like to mention the after commission number because that is the true profit on the day. It's not what the P&L says. It's what you actually are going to see in your bank account after the commissions take effect. But again, we, didn't take this trade to about 10:30. Again, we kind of sit on our hands, and we knew the reason for it was that news dropping at 10, and we really didn't have a setup. But we talked about this setup, how it would react to it when it finally came around, and we just followed the plan, right? We talked about it, said, hey, if the market, this is what I want to see. I want to see the 20 moving average break. I want to see what it does. Saw the little upper shadow. Once it got below the 9 moving average, I took the short. Also had another contract there right at the 20 moving average, which hit. And I wanted to see it fall to low of days, and that's where I took profit. And we also had a plan if this did the opposite, got above the 20, let's pretend that we didn't have this red candle here, but it bounced off the 20 moving average and continued on up. The 9 would have crossed over here. I would have went long off the 9 and the 20, and then looked for it to rise right up to that volume weighted average price, which would have been my target because that would have been a nice little gap to fill, and that's where I would have looked to took profits at. So again, that's all trading is one, you got to identify, you got to have an edge in the market, right? That's first and foremost. You got to find a strategy that you have back tested and proven has worked over a long period of time, that you feel comfortable with, that kind of fits into your plan. And then 2, it's the execution of that plan, right? It's sticking to your game plan, and before you pull the trigger on any trades, you already know what you're going to do. You're not trying to think on a swivel, kind of make stuff up as you go, right? You kind of have a predefined trading plan of like you know what to do before it even happens, right? That keeps the emotions away out of it. So you know what to do, right? You're never behind the eight ball when it comes to trading. You kind of have already thought of, okay, if the market does X, I do Y. If the market does Y, I do X. And my stop losses are if it does this and it goes against that trading plan, which is going to happen. That is the hardest thing about trading that I tell new traders. Once you get to the point of profitability, it's to maximize it. It's really looking at, um, the old saying, keeping losers tight and letting your winners run. What ends up happens with a lot of new traders is they are very quick to take profit. They lack the patience, right? They're very quick to take profits and very reluctant to cut losers. And I've been there before, trust me. Back in my early trading career, I was the same way. It just goes against human nature for us to be wrong. We don't want to admit that we're wrong. I forget the author's name. I think it's Tim Haggard. I could be wrong on that, but one of the greatest trading books out there, if you haven't read it, definitely go and read it, is The Best Loser Wins. That's how it is with trading, right? The best loser is going to win, right? Because you're going to take losses. You just can't let those losses just be so much bigger as an average than your winners, right? Because you're just always going to be fighting a losing battle, right? Typically, what I like to say is I never want my losers to be bigger than what I can make back in 2 to 3 days, right? I don't want a loser that's going to take me 2 weeks of solid trading just to be break even. It just breaks your spirit so much when you're just such down in a rabbit hole that you just feel like, man, if I have a perfect trading month, I'm just now break even, or I'm gonna have 3 great trading months just to be where I was where you started, right? Because you'll never, you know, you'll always have ups and downs in trading. So that's the hardest part. Is I will say that is to, you got to minimize those losses, right? You're gonna have them. I've not met one trader out there that's going to tell me that they are a perfect trader and never take losses, because that is absurd if anybody tells you that. Or I'd like to meet that individual and learn from them. But, the best loser wins in this game. So 1041 here, we may not get another opportunity, but keeping my eyes peeled, seeing if we are. Just because what I kind of talked about earlier, that 775 area, we didn't quite come down to it. We've gotten pretty close, but that's a pretty good trend reversal area. If the market pulls back there and then the market decides they want to bounce off that area, we could see a short-term pop. And even right here as we kind of lay flat. Looks like there's a shelf here, like a lot of support. But 1042 here. Again, I'm up 737.50 on the day, 733 after commissions. And I am happy with that on a Tuesday, coming off Labor Day weekend, where I got to get some money back because I spent a bunch of money on Labor Day. We got a nice little cabin in the woods in Gatlinburg. Me and the fam kind of hung out in the mountains, did a bunch of touristy stuff. $10.45 here. VIX is up 17.75%. Woo! And days like this, man, be trading the VIX. You can make some good money trading the fear and greed index. Just never been my cup of tea, but I do always see it. I always keep it up on my dashboard just to kind of see where the market's mind is. Like I said, that's the fear and greed index. Kind of let you know where the market is thinking. whether if everybody's getting scared or if everybody's getting too greedy. But again, this was recorded here. I'll get this uploaded later in the afternoon if you want to go back and watch this. Kind of think about that setup, why I took it. Jonathan, I saw a message you put earlier. Do I have any courses or anything like that? I don't. I've been saying I'm gonna put something out. I just haven't. Um, but I need to. I need to get something together. Kind of really go through a lot. I get a lot of questions on prop firms. I trade my own money. I did a prop firm for the group. Oh God, I guess what was that? 2 months ago, 3 months ago now, just to go through the process and trade it live for everybody. And I did Apex. I just picked one because Apex was the cheapest out there, and I knew I wasn't going to do it for very long. But I wanted to do it, go through, get funded, show you how I traded to get funded, and then wanted to get a payout just to make sure that I could get a payout with the strategy that I used from Apex. So did the whole challenge. Got a payout. As soon as I got my payout, I just haven't traded the account and went back over here to TradeStation and trade my own money here. But good and bad things about prop firms. I think they're great for beginners because you can predefine your risk in trading your own money, right? You know what your risk is with trading a prop firm. It's whatever you paid for the evaluations and the actual funded account, right? So you have a max stop. You have a max loss, right? If you blow the account up, it's whatever you put into it, which I think is great for traders. And also, there's a lot of rules with it, right? Which is good and bad, but it'll help set up a little bit of discipline for newer traders before you put your hard-earned money in. And I think if you can go through it and get funded and get a payout or two, it's going to kind of, one, give you a little confidence, two, kind of prove to yourself that you can do this. Once you kind of get to that step, but there's a lot of negatives to them. Like, if you're a professional trader, you're not using prop firms, let's be honest here. As much stuff as people put out there, it just doesn't make sense. Because there's so much negative stuff on I've seen people not get payouts. They refuse to pay people out. They say you broke a rule. You have documentation that you did, and they say that you did. It's just, why go through that extra layer if you know that you're a profitable trader? You're not going to do that. You're going to have your own money, and you're going to trade your own accounts, just the way that it is. Unfortunately, the prop firms pay a lot of traders out there big money to promote their prop firm, right? And it's just the nature of the business. They're paying some of these YouTube traders hundreds of thousands of dollars a month to promote them, to get newbie traders into a prop firm, because they don't know much about the industry, right? And they're taking 30, 40, 50, $160 a month off these traders, right? It's a very profitable business for the prop firms, right? Because if you look at their fine print, 90% of the people don't pass their challenges. You think about how many active users are on their platform. They're making millions and millions a month with traders just failing prop firm challenges. So as professional traders, you're not going to trade those, right? Now, I find it so comical. You go on YouTube and you see all these guys, and they're like, "Oh, I made $100 and something thousand this month trading. I've got 20 funded accounts on Apex. Making $200-300 a day times 20, yada yada, all this stuff." It's like, no, what you're doing is you're promoting. You're getting advertising dollars to promote these prop firms, and you're not really trading real money on these prop firms. They're all demo accounts, and you have an agreement with the prop firms, and they're not really getting paid out that amount, even though they try to show it. What they're getting paid out is advertisement dollars to promote that particular prop firm. So long term, it's not a viable option. Trust me, you don't want to go down that road because you're going to get denied. Once they understand you're a profitable trader, then you lose that prop firm then loses money on you, just like a casino, and they're not they're quote unquote, you're an advantage player. They're not going to let you trade that prop firm, and they're going to deny you payouts, and you'll never win that battle with them, and they know it. So what they're looking for is the new traders that are unprofitable, that are going to be like, I'm going to pass this challenge one day, and they've done 47 challenges and have yet to pass one. That's where they make their money. or they do pass it finally, then they stick them with a $200 fee to get an actual funded account, and then they blow it up the next month. Then they start that process all over again. So that's how prop firms make money. Like I said, I think they're great for newer traders, like to build your confidence up, to kind of show you those rules, and before you put your real money in, I think that is a viable option. Is to prove to yourself, like, okay, my strategy works, my thought process works. I got to a funded account. I got, what I did is I just got $1,000 payout and said peace. So I didn't lose money on the deal, and seeing that it actually, quote unquote, my strategy works with prop firms. Because I had a lot of people ask me, and I just couldn't give an honest opinion because I never had gone through that process. So I wanted to go through it to give an honest opinion. But as a long-term strategy, there's no actual professional day traders out here trading prop firms as much as, you may believe it on YouTube. It's just not happening. Because once you are profitable, you're not profitable to a prop firm, and you're going to cost them money because they actually don't put your orders live on the market. If you read the NFA agreement, if you go dive a little deeper into prop firms and read the NFA agreements, like, they're not putting live orders through, right? They're paying you out on, their profits of their actual, of what you're taking the profits of the losing traders is what you're doing. And they're still keeping 90% of it, right? It's in that 90-10 split. So trust me, prop firms are great in the beginning to get funded and, get a couple payouts and get a couple, bucks in your personal bank account. And then that you're a profitable trader. Why would you need to use a prop firm? And the whole reason we trade is to have freedom, right? And I definitely don't want a prop firm telling me how I can and cannot trade. It goes against, why we do this in the first place. So, that is my opinion on prop firms. I will never be the guy that's going to push prop firms down your throat because I want an extra $100,000, $200,000 a month to promote them. But people sell their souls in this industry for the quick buck. But I think that's going to be it for me. I don't see another trade set up here. It's 10:51 here. We're just going to take our one trade and be done on the day. Easy peasy here. Not bad for an hour of work. Again, profit's going to be $737.50. After commissions, we're up $733 here. Again, I'll post the profit there in the profit chat in the Discord to show it. And then I'll get this video uploaded to YouTube here later today if you want to go back, watch it, recap it. Again, pretty easy. I say easy, but again, we knew what we were going to do before it happened, right? Talked about what I wanted to see. Once I saw it happen, I just executed the plan that I told you guys and took profit, and that's it for the day, right? So very, very, very hard life. I'm going to jump on the boat here right after this, go enjoy the water on a Tuesday, and hopefully you guys, like I said, had a good Labor Day weekend. That's going to be it for me. And I will be back at it tomorrow. Again, I trade 9:45 to 11 o'clock. So 10:52 here, we are done just because I don't see another setup here kind of happening to that 11 o'clock area. Just because we're 30 on the RSI, we've been downtrending. The second big thing that's telling me I'm not going to see a setup is the volume's just been super light here today. So not going to get greedy, not going to sit around staring at a screen for the next 8 minutes for no reason here. So that's it for me. You guys have a good one. We'll be back at it tomorrow. Peace.